Hello and welcome to Somatic Wise. Today's video is about eco-anxiety. What is it and what can we do about it? So as you can see, I'm walking around Long Beach today. I love this city. It's a wonderful place to live. We are a little bit cut off from nature here. You can see that we just had a lot of storms and there's some snow-capped mountains. But basically this is not exactly a nature area. So I'm headed over to our local native plant park, which I think will be a wonderful place to talk about eco-anxiety. So what is eco-anxiety? It's exactly what it sounds like. Eco-anxiety is anxiety or other forms of stress and distressed emotions about the current state of our planet and what we're doing to it. It can feel really overwhelming, really out of control, and sometimes it's crackling in the background. Sometimes people aren't aware that they have it. It's very normal, and that's what we're here to talk about today. I think stress about the destruction of nature is a very normal thing to have happen. If you want to see people get upset, show them pictures of poached elephants or the rainforest having been cut down or what have you. It's in all of us. Ecotherapy talks about a phenomenon called biophilia. And basically biophilia is the tendency of life to gravitate towards life. If you want to disrupt a meeting, bring a dog in the room. I mean a really well-behaved dog, because people love animals. Not every person loves animals, but it's in us, the majority of us, it's wired in there. We have a natural affinity for life. We're attracted to life. Nature is one of the things that environmentally is most proven to be relaxing and restorative. That's biophilia, and that's our affinity to nature. So let's talk for a minute about the stress response cycle. The stress response cycle is inherent wiring in all of us. It's what responds to threat and creates a fight, flight, or freeze response to get us out of danger. Let's say, heaven forbid, that I'm walking along a main street here, kind of a busy street, lots going on. So what if one of these cars jumped the sidewalk and started to come towards me? Well, once my visual system and my auditory system had detected the threat, it would be normal for my body to send a lot of fight or flight energy into my musculature, respiratory system, cardiac system, all that to deal with the threat. And hopefully I would jump out of the way or yell at them, like I've done a million times, to not run me over. And fortunately for me, every time it's worked so far, which is why I'm here. Anyhow, that's the threat response cycle. It happens with obvious things like cars coming at us, but also happens with any other threat that our system might detect in the environment. It is an inherent part of our wiring. It is why combat veterans will jump and go into a stress response cycle when there's a loud noise, if they've been autonomically conditioned in that way in their previous experiences, their body's trying to save them. And so this happens also when we detect threats to the environment. It's really distressing. Oh, there's a lot of threats to the environment around here, as much as I love this city. So here's the thing. When our senses or our intellect detects a threat to the natural environment, it's normal to go into a threat response cycle. That's in our bodies, right? But when it feels like there's nothing we can do about it, oh my gosh, look at all this trash. Wow. Wow, that's a lot of trash. I'll pick it up on my way back. When we detect an environmental threat and we feel like we can't do anything about it, that stress stays somewhere. It's in our nervous system. It's in the back of our mind. So this is what this video is here to talk about. What can we do about it? The thing is that the way out of a stress response cycle is to take effective action. It's way better to be doing something than to have all that energy cooped up in our nervous system. And so this is the first of a series of videos about what can we do that's manageable, that doesn't feel like too overwhelming or too much, because as overwhelming as the problem is, if the solution also feels overwhelming, we won't do anything about it, right? So I would like this to be some wonderful brainstorming and a catalyst for action. So the sign on the pole says no dumping allowed. I don't know if you could see it. There it is. No dumping allowed. Then we have all this, an old sofa, all the trash I just picked up. This is on California Avenue in Long Beach. It's even worse on that side. No dumping. So here we are coming up on Willow Springs Park, which is one of Long Beach's native plant parks. Willow Springs is an important site because it was the place where fresh water flowed, and so it supported a lot of life, including indigenous people who lived here before the area was industrialized. So here's a little example of possible eco-anxiety. I'm sure it won't be the same for everyone, but just sort of notice, if you want, you can check this out. You can notice how it feels as we kind of pan over to the more industrial side of things here. Just notice what's happening in your felt sense if you want to check this out. It's at your own risk, of course. Compared and contrasted with. So again, if you're curious, you can notice how it felt a moment ago as you took in the traffic. And just sort of noticing now what it feels like in your felt sense. What's your emotional state, your physical sensations, as we're here in Willow Springs Park. And we're taking in these beautiful Encelia californicas. This is a California sunflower, and it supports so many insects and pollinators, which supports birds, because birds need their insects to eat, the ones that they've been eating for so many years. So again, noticing the contrast between this and this. What's the difference in how you feel in your body? So right here, next to the Encelia californica, or the California sunflower, we have some Salvia apiana, or white sage. If you've never smelled this stuff, you really should. It just smells fantastic. And you can see that it's still got the branches from its blossoms. These things double or triple in size in the spring when they bloom. And again, wonderful support for pollinators. It's a very important plant in some indigenous people's spiritual ceremonies. And this is just really a beautiful place to be. Okay then, just to sum up, eco-anxiety is a normal distress response to watching environmental devastation, especially that performed by our own species. It can be very overwhelming. It activates a natural wired threat response cycle that we all have. And when we're overwhelmed, it can stay stuck in there and not feel like it has a resolution, and it can continue to cause distress, anxiety, overwhelm. It is normal. It should not be disregarded. Okay, so this is the first of a series of videos about what can we do about it, because nobody wants to sit here and watch something all gloom and doom without a solution, right? And there is a solution possible, and it is in human hands. So just off the top of my head. There's going to be a lot more, and I'd love people to suggest things that we can do as well. Everything from small things to big things, individual to systemic. One thing that pops into my mind is just developing one's own nature practice and just coming to places like this, even in the midst of a very urban environment. It's one of the things I love about Long Beach. They're progressive. We have an office of sustainability here. I'm getting certified as part of the Green Business Program. We didn't have a green business program before. I'm so glad that my city is starting to respond to the call of what needs to be done. So if in your city you don't have a place like this with local indigenous flora, make one, insist on one, get together with community folks, find out what are the indigenous plants in your area and establish a little bit of an oasis like this. It's our connection to nature that's restorative and makes us feel like we've got the wind in our sails to do these things. Lots more coming about concrete, specific actions that all of us can take to start chiseling into the problem we're creating and be part of the solution and make a difference. So, until next time, take care, be well, don't forget to have a little fun while you're at it. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support my work of getting this information out into the world, you could subscribe to receive notification of future videos. You could contribute to my Patreon account to support this channel, and of course, please feel free to share this video with others. Take care. Until next time, be well.